Today's video is dedicated to the person or the people that are watching this that have got huge goals, massive plans in racing, but they're just not making progress. Now, the question that inspired this week's video is from Luke, and he asks, I have a burning desire to make it as a pro driver, and I know I have the skills, but I'm just not taking the action I need to. Any advice? Yes, Luke, I've got advice on this, and I'm going to run you through, and anybody else who's having this problem, because come on, it's common, right? We've got these goals, these dreams in life, but we know deep down we're not working as hard as we should. And it's nothing to do with desire that's missing or vision. When people say have this clear vision, nothing to do with that. It's more getting your ass into action, having a system or something there that holds you accountable. And that is what I want to do today. I want to show you something I call my Maxi attack system. And I call it Maxi attack system because really it was from a driver that I was coaching, and every time he was pushing to the absolute maximum, he would say Maxi attack. And it was actually Kevin Cordes when I was coaching him. He came up with that saying, and for some reason it stuck. And when I was like, right, I know I want to be the best coach in this industry, but I'm not taking action like I should be. I'm just working the mill and it's not really getting me anywhere. I was like, right, I need to build a Maxi attack system. And I did. And actually, a lot of you that know me and been through my books and stuff, you've probably used it, but I want to share it on a wider scale now. I want to run you through the system that I used to completely revolutionize my life and to actually get results on the career that I was chasing. And I want to share that with you so you can do exactly the same. Now, I don't want to scare you off, but this is an Excel sheet, which sounds amazingly boring. But to be fair, it's held me accountable. It makes sure that I pretty much don't bullcrap myself and say, yeah, I'm working really hard, but actually I'm not. There's no proof. The results are not there. So it holds me accountable, this Excel sheet, and I fill it out every week, or I should say every week when I'm really pushing towards something. Say if I've got to write a book, there's a goal that I've got, and I know I'm not working as hard as I should. I get the Maxi attack system out and off I go. And it actually puts me back on track. It's really good if you stick to it. So I want to run you through that now. That's what I'm going to do at this point. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, it's not going to make much sense. I want you to get over to YouTube and watch this video so you can see exactly how to use this system so you can completely change your life and get yourself moving forward and actually create the career that you're dreaming up in your mind. So it's no longer a dream. It's reality. Without further ado, let's do some screen sharing. First off, go to theracedrivercoach.com and go to the downloads page and you'll see something called Maxi Attack Form. Click on it and it'll download. When you open it up, you'll see this dashboard first of all, and it doesn't make too much sense at the minute, but don't worry, I'll talk you all through it. But this is pretty much what populates as you fill this out. Now, across the bottom, you can see all the different months of the year, January, February, March, and onwards. And if I click in Jan, it'll open up the January tab. And this is where we start to plan our January. Right, we start at the top with a monthly North Star. That's where we set up the game. The game for this month. What's the big North Star that I want to achieve for this month to be a success and to really take me forward? And in order to achieve that North Star, we split things up into 4 sections. This driver, for example, would say, I want goals with my driving and results. I want goals with my sponsorship. I want personal performance goals and career goals. And these goals are the tasks that you need to do or complete over the month if you're to say, I achieve that North Star. Now, to show you that already filled out, let's jump to April because I filled this out just as an example. Here is the North Star of this person. They've said to be successful this month, I've got to completely dominate the season openers and make people ask, who's this guy? Now, they've said that because it's the start of the season. They want to dominate the first few rounds and they want the industry noticing this person, saying, I want people to know my name, to say, where have they come from? So that's his big fluffy goal for that month. Then underneath, it's like, right, what are the big goals, the big tasks that I must achieve in order to get this North Star? And he's like, right, okay, potential pole position every race, which basically means I want to be fast enough so pole positions aren't. Another task for this month is I want to be completely happy with my brake shape and I want to have rocket start. So that's all the driving tasks that he wants to complete this month. Then on the sponsorship side, he's had like goals like I want to land one sponsor. On the personal performance side, I want to be rock solid mentally and be the fittest on the grid. And career side, I want to get the F2 bosses talking about me, F2 team bosses talking about me. So what this form does is it does take a big fluffy goal, a huge one for your life, bring it down to the month, and then bring it down in that month to like, what are the 4 most important areas for me to achieve what I want as a driver? And then you're splitting them down into different tasks. So you can have a very solid month and you say, right, my targets for this month are these 4 areas. If I can complete this, I'm going to be on my way. But I don't want to stop there. I want to come back down even another level and say, right, if I've got this huge North Star, if I've got these tasks that I want to complete this month, what have I got to do today? What have I got to do this week in order to get them targets met? And that's when we move down the form and you can see that the missions for this week are these: set up, practice to be more like qualifying, but testing with, a circuit with a lot of hairpins, go to an airfield so we can practice starts and order some new clutches for the starts. And then he's got sponsorship, tasks, missions, if you want to call it that, career ones, and mental. I was a bit cheeky. I put read the warrior's mind to help his mental side. Couldn't help that. So this then gives the driver a very clear plan on what they want to do this week. It's an elaborate to-do list, but it's a very precise one because the actions, because it's all on one sheet. The actions are going up towards the North Star that you want to actually achieve. That is your roadmap to success. And I'll tell you what, if you continuously do this every month, it's amazing how all these small actions, they build up. Before you know it, you're a lot closer than you think, or at least you get the truth. Am I going to make it? And to make it even better, to make it more of a self-assessment, at the bottom of the form, you can see these weeks, right? It's not always 5 weeks in a month, but I've just got 5 anyway. Now, it's going to be empty like this when you actually come to it. So you say, right, week 1, how was I? How hard did I work? How effective was I this week on my driving? And you give yourself a score in percentage. You say, I was about 30%, I reckon. I was 3 out of 10 pretty much in work ethic and actually executing on my driving. Sponsorship, I worked really hard in sponsorship. I couldn't do much more. 80% I give myself. Personal performance, I didn't really do anything. I was just working too hard. So I'm actually going to give myself probably a 10 there. And career, I was actually calling up quite a few teams and I spoke to a few. So I would say 70%. And it kind of gives you a score. Now you do this for every single week in that month. And if we go back to the dashboard, as you're filling out these things in these months, it will be populating the dashboard itself. And I've done the whole year to give you a whole example. Now, this driver, as you can see, in January, they scored themselves pretty low in driving. And if you look at the comment, spent most of the time on the sim, mental training, and finding sponsors, no on-track driving. So they felt they weren't working on their driving much in January, February. But once the testing started, obviously the driving went up. They didn't work much on their personal performance in Feb, but they picked it up throughout the whole year. As you can see, as the season stopped, in October, they stopped driving, so much, a bit of testing there maybe, but so did their personal performance. So they let their personal performance go. They weren't reading the books, they weren't doing mental training, and they kind of just pretty much did minimal stuff on making themselves better. But at least they can see that on the graph. And these were through the scores, remember, that they gave themselves here in each area. And on the sponsorship side, it looks like over winter, this driver really pushed hard on sponsorship. Didn't really do much in the season, but then at the end of the season, again, they worked hard. It just goes to show that when this driver was in the season, they were just focused on driving, so their driving did better and their personal performance did. But the business side of it, they let themselves down. They didn't work hard on the business side, and that's so common. Because you're getting such a kick from your racing, you think, this is taking up all my time, it's all I care about. But do not forget to look after business. If you're a race driver who's got a big goal, you've got to balance business, working hard on the business side, the career and the sponsorship at the same time as driving. Don't be too yo-yo, because the winter, it's really too late to look for sponsors. You want to be looking for sponsors and moving your career forward in the season. When you've got that vehicle, you've got all the social media going, following your racing, that's important. It's a missed opportunity if you only focus on your driving mid-season. Oh, one thing I didn't mention was the goals and objectives. Do this at the beginning of the year, or when you start using this, if you start using it now, just have the goals and objectives, the big ones that you want to achieve this year, just to set things up. It just fires up that engine and make sure that you fill your form for that month and that week with the tasks that actually make a difference. So again, get over to the website, download it, and just use this and make it your own. If you're like, well, I don't really like this Excel, the way it's laid out, you make it your own. And you have it as kind of like a way of holding yourself accountable and also giving yourself the pointers that you need every single day. What is it I need to do today? I'm going to check my Maxi attack system and I'm going to find out and go for it. Have fun with this and ask me any questions that you've got. See you next time.